Support for WUWM podcasts comes from Johnson Financial Group, helping customers build financial plans around their unique goals for over 55 years. More at johnsonfinancialgroup.com. Johnson Bank and Johnson Wealth Inc. are Johnson Financial Group companies.
You're listening to Lake Effect Spotlight from WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR station. Here's one of our favorite conversations about the people, places, and organizations that shape Milwaukee.
If you're trying to live a more plastic-free life, Milwaukee's new Refillery might be for you. At ECO MKE Refillery, you can bring in a reusable container, like a mason jar or glass jug, and buy refills of dish soap, detergent, body wash, and more. Kayla Bouma is the owner and founder of ECO MKE. She says her new brick-and-mortar in the 3rd Ward also sells sustainable home goods, like bamboo utensils, dryer balls, and toothpaste tablets. Bouma joins Lake Effect's Xcaret Nuñez to share more about her business and how people can implement eco-friendly habits in their everyday lives.
We're sitting here together at your first brick-and-mortar, but I want to backtrack and talk about how we got here. How did you first become interested in sustainable living? Were you always environmentally conscious?
No, not always. I grew up in a household where we used paper towels left and right for every little spill, constantly using plastic sandwich bags. I feel like we did reuse a lot of things naturally. Like my mom was always saving things to use them for something else. But other than that, I didn't really know much about sustainability. So yeah, it wasn't really until college that I started to really think about it. I was really interested in psychology and sociology, and I happened to have a professor at Carroll who had a lot of his classes that he talked about like our relationship with the planet, how we impact the planet as humans, which I thought was really cool. And then I ended up kind of changing my major a little bit, and I ended up with a bachelor's in sociology and an emphasis in environmental sustainability. And I started making changes with like my personal care and different kitchen items that I use. And I got into health and wellness with sustainability. So those things kind of go together in a lot of ways, because a lot of the choices that we can make that are better for the planet are actually better for our health as well. So that's where I started to stop buying so much polyester clothing and buying new clothing. And I started to thrift my outfits. I was focusing a little more on what I was eating, trying to make more of my own food, not store and heat so much food in plastic. And making just like little simple switches like that, I noticed a huge difference in my energy and my health and my sleep. And yeah, I was just creating less waste too, which was awesome.
So it seems like being sustainable means creating habits in your life that are more environmentally friendly. Mm-hmm. When did the idea of creating ECO MKE Refillery come up for you?
So it definitely was not always something on my radar to own a refill store. I was always a refiller. So back in COVID, we had a shop called The Glass Pantry, which later turned into Green Life Trading Company. And it was the first refill store in the Milwaukee area, and it definitely was something that was needed. I loved going in there. I was in there all the time. I was always telling my friends about it too. And in college, I started an Instagram where I talk about sustainable living and health and wellness, and I was always posting about them. And it was the day after the Milwaukee location closed that I was like, where are people going to go now to get these things? There isn't a place around here. I was so sad. And it wasn't on my radar until then to start something of my own. And I was like, okay, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And that was at the end of 2023. I think in November or December of 2023, that was when I actually got the LLC for ECO MKE. So I was sitting on this idea for a while, like trying to figure out how I was going to make it happen. And I kind of got the push last year in January, February of 2025, where I was like, okay, I'm actually going to do this. I feel like I've collected enough information and talked to enough people on like what to do. I have never worked in retail before. So all of this was like very new to me, but at the same time, I had been a refiller for so long at the previous refilleries that like I knew the process and like what products to carry. And because I've used all these products myself, like I knew what products worked and like what didn't. So yeah, we opened in April. I started doing markets throughout April to December last year. We did 30 markets.
Wow.
So I was pretty much at a market almost every weekend. No brick and mortar yet, even though that was always the question that people always asked was, where are you located? Where can I come refill in person? But then how I came into this space, I wanted the store to be a thing eventually. I didn't want to jump into a brick and mortar right away. I did some consignment with a couple people, Lucy at Indigo Plant Collective, just 2 doors down from here. I got connected with her, and she shares a lot of the same values as me with sustainability too. So that was really cool. But she invited me to have a shelf at her store, which is just 2 doors down from this location. And this spot that we're sitting in was available at the time that I was at her place doing a pop-up last year. And she was like, oh, hey, it'd be cool if we were neighbors. And we kind of just joked about it. But then it turned out that I actually inquired about this place and I fell in love with it, and it just kind of worked out. So yeah, the succession just kind of made sense of scaling to where we're at now, and definitely couldn't have done any of this without the people that we've met along the way. So
walk me through what shopping at a refill store is like. Like, how does the refill process work?
Yeah, so at our store, it's a little different compared to other refill stores, I would say, because you walk in and you don't see a bunch of beautiful glass gallon jugs on the table full of soap. We actually do the refilling in the back for people. So what you do is you come in, and if you know that you want refills and you brought clean and dry containers to put things in, you can come straight to the desk and place your order. There's a refill menu on the wall that tells you all of the different products that we have. So you can tell us how much or how little of a product you want. If you just want to try like an ounce of something, that's an option versus buying a whole brand new bottle and then having it go to waste. Or you can fill up a half gallon of something. And by doing that, we eliminate a lot of waste and a lot of like cleanup that can sometimes happen, because spills do happen. But it's nice because then we just take care of them in the back. And then it just kind of helps people that are maybe intimidated with refilling, but we do that here for everybody.
Well, what are some of the different items that you offer here at ECO MKE Refillery?
Yeah, we offer a lot of different things here. So there's different cleaning tablets, and there's reusable kitchen items, a variety of different like plastic-free beauty products. I feel like beauty is an area where there's just so much little tiny plastic pieces with beauty. I would say our best-selling products that people really love are dryer balls. So instead of dryer sheets, dryer balls help reduce the static. They also help with energy in the drying process. So you'll find yourself maybe drying your clothes for less time because the dryer ball helps provide like a little bit of bulk in the load and helps to separate the layers of clothes. And then I would say our most popular liquid refill right now is hand soap, and adding the mint and eucalyptus essential oil scent to it. That was a really great gift for Mother's Day. And we currently don't make anything in-house, but we would love to eventually, now that we do have this space. It was hard for us when we were doing this out of my basement before to make our own products. But now that we do have a space, maybe in the future we could make some of our own cleaners or soaps or something. But we do try to source a lot of our products locally. Our skincare is all sourced from Larson's General in La Crosse. And then hyperlocal, if we can do it hyperlocal. One of our hair bar brands that we carry from Corvus Beauty, she is based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I'm Lake Effect's Xcaret Nuñez, speaking with Kayla Bouma, owner of ECO MKE Refillery, about her new storefront in Walker's Point. So you started your business by selling at farmers markets in the Milwaukee area, as you were mentioning earlier. What do you envision for this new physical space? Like, what do you hope it brings to the community?
I really want this to be an inclusive, safe space for someone to come in and give sustainability a try. Obviously, we have a lot of people that come in that have been refilling, or they refilled at the previous refill stores that we had. So they're used to it, and they come in and they know what they want, and they're very happy that we're here. But I also want to attract maybe some people that haven't been introduced to this before. And I want to make it accessible and affordable for them. I would love to eventually host community events and workshops too revolved around sustainability. There's lots of business owners and makers and vendors that I met last year that are just the best people. And I would love to have this space be a platform for them as well. We do have a community corner here too. And right now we're collecting like donations for an art swap up there. But yeah, I hope that this is just like a happy place for the community to be able to walk into.
Yeah, and I think as someone who like shops locally, I love being able to attend workshops or events that my favorite stores host and see a different side of them and get to know people who support the same local business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So some people might think that living sustainably is an all or nothing lifestyle. Before we wrap up, I was wondering if you could share some easy and affordable tips to approach living more sustainably.
Absolutely. So tip number 1 would be to use what you have. And I know sometimes that's like frustrating for people to hear because they are ready to make the switch to stuff and they just like it looks aesthetically pleasing, but truly the most sustainable thing you can do is just to use what you have first. Because something doesn't become waste until you waste it, until you make the decision to throw it out. And I think that that's an important thing to realize. Don't be afraid to mess up. It's not about being perfect. If you say that you're going to start packing your lunch every day for work and then you forget one day and you have to eat out and then feel bad because you're creating waste from the plastic to-go container or the utensils, like it's okay. That's just part of life. I feel like just with anything, nothing's ever going to be like 100% perfect all the time. If anything, you can just learn from those situations and learn to be a little more prepared. We do have like bamboo cutlery sets that you could keep in your bag or your car. So there's little like habits or convenient things that you can sprinkle into your life to kind of help lessen those mistakes, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's not an all or nothing thing. I would say another tip would be to start small. The little actions really build up over time. It's kind of like with anything. If you just dive into something completely, or if you go cold turkey on a product that you love, maybe that's not sustainable, like you're going to miss it and you're just going to kind of fall back into your old patterns probably. So it's better just to start with like 1 or 2 products, see how you like them, and then go from there. And then my last tip is to come see us. We can help you figure out where to start and how to keep your efforts going in the right direction in a sustainable way.
Well, Kayla, I really appreciate you telling me more about ECO MKE Refillery. I'm really excited for more people to check out the store.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very nice chatting with you about it. I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell, and I'm really happy to be here.
Kayla Bouma is the owner and founder of ECO MKE. She spoke with Lake Effect's Xcaret Nuñez.
That was the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast. It comes from your local NPR station, WUWM. Subscribe to the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast to hear more great stories about Milwaukee.